welcome to the next episode of Frankly Fukuyama. I hope that you will like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this content. I'm sitting here with Isabella Picon. She is a Venezuelan activist, a democracy activist. As we've documented in earlier videos on this channel, Venezuela is under a dictatorship of Maduro right now. There was an election about this time last year. What was late July?
Exactly, in July 28th last year.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there was a clear documentation that the opposition candidate. Well, actually, let me back up a little bit. So, Isabella, let me just give you a chance to introduce yourself before we launch into all this stuff about Venezuela.
Yes, I'm a Venezuelan activist and organizer. Also, I do research, and I've been leading and serving both in electoral organizing and also social movement organizing. And last year we had an amazing election where 30% the opposition vote by 30% of the vote. An amazing vote margin given the repression.
Yeah, this was for Edmondo Gonzalez.
Yeah, for Edmondo Gonzalez, with the leadership of Maria Corina Machado, who was banned and banned from being a candidate, and
even though she was extremely
popular. She was extremely popular. She won the primaries for the opposition. There are many things that happened that allowed the opposition to actually have a primary, and this has to do, I think, with being able to use tools that have to do with more negotiating with the regime, and that have to do also with organizing the grassroots. So last year the opposition was able to have an election with a true opposition candidate, because we use both tools. And we won by 30%, a margin that is incredible, and it would have been even higher if a wider margin, even if the diaspora had voted, if all the young people that are barred from voting had voted. But we won, and we proved that we won, which I think is universal history, honestly. The way we technically proved that we won.
And tell me a little bit about that, because in many contested elections you don't have solid evidence that you actually did better. You have maybe a couple of exit polls, but that wasn't the case with Venezuela.
I have seen from up close, I've had the privilege of seeing how the Venezuelan opposition has developed capacities to observe an election, to document the electoral incidents, and to document, to have a parallel auditing of the votes. And since at least 2007, 2008, the Venezuelan opposition has developed these capacities, and I helped run part of this observation, and it was an amazing experience to see grassroots activists that have done this 4 or 5 different times. And now that
I understand that you had actually the voting tally sheets from many polling places around Venezuela.
Yes, the Venezuelan voting system is electronic, so there's the voting machine prints a tally that releases a QR code. Now they actually banned the QR code. They took it out because they know it's a way for the opposition to audit the election. Before we could audit it still, but it had to be a manual kind of process and a lot more complicated. Now with the QR code, you could just take a picture of it and it would upload the votes. And it was amazing. I think we were all impressed but at the same time impressed, and also it's been 15 years at least of capacity development of the Venezuelan pro-democracy movement, both of political parties and social movements that gathered together because they saw an opportunity to beat the government, the ruling party at the polls. And unfortunately, they are, they increase repression, and they want to remain in power. And we're not done yet. We're not done yet, but I think it's taken the ruling party, Maduro's regime, is still in a way digesting that they are not in the minority. They are a slim, like a very, very small minority, and now they are only governing by force, by violence.
Yeah, so they've dropped the pretense of actually being a democratic
regime. And also this pretense of like ideological, being from the left and of popular support. This is all gone. They have many, the communist candidate in Chile literally a few days ago said, Maduro is not an acceptable, a standard bearer of the left in Latin America. So
but what was very disappointing, I think, was that other presidents in Latin America on the left, like in Colombia, Mexico, Brazil, they didn't stand up against Maduro, and
definitely didn't do enough. And I think Brazil is a giant that doesn't want to acknowledge or stand in it on its own, and doesn't want to lead the way it could lead. But the problem is going to knock on the door, because you have now 10 million forced migrants, and that's going to affect Brazil, that's going to affect Mexico, that's going to affect Colombia mostly, Ecuador, Peru, and this is a regional problem. Democracy in Venezuela, the lack of democracy in Venezuela and authoritarianism in Venezuela, and the economic crisis that is coming right now to Venezuela is a regional problem.
And it's affected the United States.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of Venezuelan refugees and migrants that has been roiling our politics as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, Isabella, thank you very much. I really admire the work that you and your colleagues have done to try to maintain some semblance of democracy in Venezuela. I'm sorry it didn't work last year, but I think if you guys keep at it, at one point there will be an opening. We will keep at it, and the moment democracy starts in Venezuela again, you will see it happening in other places too, because we were one of the first cases of democratic backsliding this century, and I think if we do it, others will follow. I hope so. Yeah. Okay. So I should say Isabella has been part of our Fisher Family Summer Fellows program here at the Center on Democracy, Development, and the Rule of Law. We bring together democracy activists from all over the world, and I think you made a great contribution. This is sadly the last day of our program, so we're all going to have to say goodbye, but thank you for participating. Thank you for the opportunity. It was truly amazing 3 weeks. Okay, great.